You're listening to the Money Dad Podcast, practical financial and business conversation from a dad who knows money. I'm April Adams, and please welcome my dad, the Money Dad, Robert Adams. So I was having breakfast with a friend of mine, and we were talking about her son, who I've known him too since he was really little, and now he's, I think, about to go into high school. Yeah. And about, we were talking about how much he's changed, and you know, he's not the cute little boy. Like, now when I see him, he's like, "What up, bro?" You know, instead of and you just don't have, he doesn't have the same excitement seeing me anymore. But one of the things we were talking about this podcast and what came up was talking to your teens or your kids about money. And so this friend, she started laying out for him what it would cost for him to go to college and everything that would be involved in there. And they've offered to let him live at home when he goes to college to save money. But she said his eyes got as big as saucers when she started explaining what everything really costs to live. And he's running a little business where he is pulling in trash cans for neighbors. And I think he's got 5 clients, and he charges them $10 a month to do that. So it's about an hour's worth of work for $50. But yeah, she said it would be helpful to hear some things about how to teach kids how to manage their money, the importance of it. She's tried to talk to him about scaling his business and how he needs to keep up with things. So thought this would be a good episode about how do we train those kids?
Well, let's talk about kids and money first. Teaching your children to save money is it is a progressive process. You really need to start when they're preschool to start teaching them about money. I remember I used to have this big fat piggy bank. And my mom and daddy said, if you get pennies, put them in the piggy bank. Well, I did, but then I got bored with putting them in the piggy bank. It had this little stopper underneath the bottom, and I could pull it out every now and then and shake them out to see how many pennies was in it. Mm-hmm. But as I was doing it, I never could see how many pennies was in it. All I saw was that pig.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you had to break open your piggy bank.
Yeah. So, one of the things you might want to do with toddlers or preschool or something, instead of getting a piggy bank, just get a clear jar and make it to where they can drop their money in it and maybe put a couple pennies in, show them how to put pennies in it, or encourage them to put, well, we don't make pennies anymore, so we go to nickels. Let's put some nickels in it. That'll grow a whole lot faster.
Yeah.
By cutting out the pennies, they get 5 times as much.
Yep.
So anyway, where they can see it, and then, let it be a game where you look at the clear jar and say, honey, look how much you're getting. Keep putting those pennies in. Nickels. And make it like a little competition thing, and throw some nickels around sometimes so they can pick them up and put them in there. And then it starts them to have a concept of wanting to save and watch that grow. When you get down to like your elementary kids, maybe put some kind of little small allowance to what they're doing, that now you're teaching them to work.
Oh yeah, I remember working for $1 an hour, picking up sticks in the yard.
Well, you learn to work. And that's where you get that work attitude, that you can't get it for nothing. There has to be something that you do to be able to receive what you get.
I also learned how to con my brother. That was easier than working for $1 an hour.
Well, we're not going to share that in this podcast, April, about how you con your brother. But for the parents listening, watch out for your kids conning each other out of everything that they have.
Sometimes we'd figure it out together, but...
All right, getting back to this, because we will talk about that more here in a minute. But when you have an elementary kid, an idea is to get you three clear jars or something you can see, and start using one of those to put money in to spend, use one of them to put money in to save, and then here's a unique thing that I think you need to teach your children is have one to put a little bit of money in that you want to give. Giving is very important. Some people don't give at all. That's a choice. But I think our kids need to be taught that you don't have to take everything you have to give, but you can separate those things out, that so much percentage goes into spending, because that's the money that you're going to have to take care of your needs. Then there's also money that you want to save, so that when those needs need to be met and you don't have the money, that you can go to the savings jar. And then a small portion of that could also go to a giving jar. So that's just a little example there. Then you get to middle school. When you get to middle school, I call that 11 to 14, maybe somewhere around there.
Yeah.
You want to go open up that savings account. And you want to do the things like I think we said in one podcast, where my dad used to take me down to the little savings and loan when they had passbook savings, and I would put $5 a week in off the money that I was making. But when I realized at the end of the year I had $252 plus a little bit of interest, that was pretty impressive off that $5 a week. So give them a savings account, encourage them to save, for larger big ticket items like at that age, they still might want to buy a bike now. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I think I just might have set a novel concept, April, to use their money to buy a bike. Not the mom and daddy's money to buy a bike. Now.
Unless they're saving it up for Santa.
You talking about the kid or the mama?
The kid. The kid is.
Well, they may be. Now, we know that the money for a middle schooler is going to come from the parents. We got that. It's either through allowance or something. But the concept here is, even though it comes from the parents, you're not going out there and just buying it for them. You're giving it to them, teaching them how to save, so that when it's time to buy it, that money that you, quote, gave them, they now think it's their money. And they start to see that if you want something, it does cost something, and now it comes out of their savings account. And then when you get high schoolers, that probably 15 to 18, 14 to 18, then you got to kind of shift toward the real world management, where you might have like a monthly budget for them. You might teach them that, hey, this is how you use a debit card, or this is how you use a credit card, and start teaching all those things. Some of you parents out there that may be listening for the first time, you may say, I've never thought about this, or I don't know how to teach them these things. Well, go back and start listening to these podcasts with episode 1, and maybe listen to them with your high schooler, because at that point, I think both of you can learn a lot from that. Some strategies for parents. In these podcasts in the beginning, I think we wore out needs versus wants. Whenever you are teaching your kid, you got to show them this particular thing is a need, this particular thing is a want. Sort of like food. If you need eggs, or if you need milk, that's like a basic need. But a candy bar or a donut, I love donuts. But anyway, those are wants.
Sometimes my soul needs those things.
Well, let your soul take care of those things after you buy those needs. Save a little money for the wants.
Don't donuts have egg involved in them?
Yeah. And then another thing is like, let's see, what's the term for that? Opportunity cost. We're gonna get some big words here. where, okay, I have so much money and I want to take my birthday money and buy a certain toy today. But when they do that, let them do it out of their money so they can see it going up, going down, increasing, decreasing. And then when they realize that there's not enough money to turn around and buy that video game or whatever it is kids do now, then they're going to say, well, I wanted that, Mama or Daddy, but I didn't have enough money to buy it because I spent the money over here. And the answer is, that's right. Not that, oh, I'm sorry, honey, I'll give you the money to go get it. No, teach your kids that there is something called a budget. Teach your kids that they need to make decisions on where they want their money to go. For example, your brother, April, he might have been 6 years old. We went to the mighty Walmart, and he was talking about wanting to buy some things. And I said, well, Michael, get your money, bring it with you, and you can go buy some things. He thought that was a very wonderful idea. So, obviously, we could have bought him this little old $5 worth of stuff, but that wasn't the point. And I hope some of you parents really listen to this. Let your kids sacrifice and see what it takes, because what Michael found out, I think, has still helped him today, maybe too much. But what happened was, I made sure that he didn't accumulate enough to go over what he brought with him. And now we get in line. I say, well, you go up there first and you pay for your stuff, Michael. He was all excited. He pulled out his little money, and that woman was ringing up his things, and she told him how much it cost. And I looked at him. I said, yep, you got enough. Go ahead and give it to her. He gave it to her. And then she gave him his change back. And he looked at me and he said, Daddy, this ain't much left. I said, that's correct, son. This is what you chose to spend your money on, and this is all you got left. So now whatever it is that you think you want to do next, you need to start saving some more of your money so you can be able to accomplish whatever it is that you want to accomplish. The problem today, I think, is a lot of parents, because they just want to brush their kids off, they want to shut them up, or they want to spoil them and give them every little thing they ask for. They don't teach these lessons. And then when the kids grow up, they have no idea about opportunity costs. They have no idea about savings. They have no idea about needs. They have no idea about wants. They have no idea about anything except Mom and Daddy's going to give me everything I want. And it may make you feel good that you're giving your kids things, but it's not helping your kid when you don't let them participate. The other thing that for parents who are doing things the right way, just lead by example. Let them see the things you do. When you get those high schoolers that come in there, let your high schoolers see the things that you're doing. Teach them, show them some of the things that you're doing in your family. Start letting them participate in some of those things that you have to do, you must do to take care of, and let them see what it really costs. Like you mentioned, I think when we first started, that the kids saw how much all this stuff was costing.
Oh yeah, how much tuition is, how much it costs to live, and I think she walked him through all of it so he could get a realistic vision of what his future would look like.
Well, that's where some parents who's listening to this podcast need to use that person as an example, to include their kids and let them see the sacrifice that you're making for them.
Yeah.
Not to make them feel guilty, but just let them learn, because I've seen unfortunate situations where high schoolers, people in college, their parents died sudden and they knew nothing to do. They had no idea what to do because the parents always took care of it for them. So parents, don't just give your kids everything. You may want to, and I call it, quote, give it to them through allowances, give it to them through other things. But when it comes time to buy things that they want or need, let them use the money that you, quote, gave them to be able to do that.
Yeah, I think her conversation began with him because he was slacking off on his grades, and he's smart enough to do well. I mean, it's not a situation where he's doing the best he can and just can't being lazy. And so she started talking to him about scholarships and what he could possibly earn, but it's like if you don't start disciplining yourself now, it's going to be a lot harder later.
I remember, I think it was you and Michael, but one or both of you asked me one time, Daddy, what can I do to help pay for college? And my answer was, keep a B average, because that's where that money was coming from the state of South Carolina. If you kept a B average, I said, if you really want to contribute to your college, you better do everything you can to make that B average, and that's the way that you can contribute. But it did set a goal for you. It did know that there was something that was expected of you, and hopefully you even expected it of yourself, to be able to do some things like that. As your kid gets older too, there are things out there in the workplace called 401ks. What's the one y'all had?
403B.
403B.
If you're nonprofit.
Yes, if you're nonprofit. Then most of these plans have a match to them. Some companies will match so much on the dollar. So as your kids get older, kind of give them an incentive that if they can go out and accomplish this and make the $50 you was talking about, then you might want to match $5. You might say, hey, you know what? You did a great job. I'm going to match 5%. Then you can start showing them as their money bills, not only did they earn 50, but you match 5 because of them doing a good job. And show them if they do work hard and do well, that there are people out there that may want to help match your money, and your money grows faster. And as we've talked about on some earlier podcasts, compound interest is your best friend. And that's why you want to give some of these kids savings accounts even when they're in middle school. Like my dad used to take me down there for the $5 a week. We weren't it out. But I did see that, hey, it made some more money on top of that. So that was a wonderful thing. And today, April, I love compounding. It's a wonderful word. And then another thing is let them make mistakes. I mean, Michael, that example with Michael and his money when he was around 6 years old, it really wasn't a mistake. But to him, after he spent it, it was a big mistake.
We have plenty of examples of Michael making mistakes.
Don't wear out your brother. But let him have a little buyer's remorse. I think that's what he experienced that day, because then he started talking. I forgot to tell you this. Then he started talking about all the things he could have gotten. And I'm like, well, this is what you chose. This is what you spent your money on. This is what you have. And guess what? This is all you got left over.
Yeah.
So now you got to go work hard, to build it back up. And then do some activities, depending on the age group. I don't know, is Monopoly still around, like a board game or whatever? Nobody plays board games anymore?
People play.
Well, that'd be one thing, as your kids maybe are 4th, 5th grade, something like that. Because when they get to be in high school, they probably don't want to spend time on board games. But get a Monopoly game out and learn how to, play Monopoly and see what can happen, when you lose everything, and see what can happen when you make money. So
you make it part of forced family fun time.
Yes, forced family fun time.
Yep, forced family fun time.
Well, you better do it when they're in about the 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade.
No, it's more forced when they're in high school.
All right, here's another thing. Just an example. Take your kids to the grocery store with you. Now, all you parents out there, I don't want to take my kids to the grocery store. Well, I understand that. I don't blame you. But now we're going to use it as a teachable moment. When they're older, take them to the grocery store. Let them stand there and watch it being rung up. And then let them see what the total bill comes to, and maybe use it as a teaching tool. Like, now, how would you come up with this money if you had to buy these groceries? The other thing is while you're shopping, why don't you send one of them off and say, hey, we need some milk. Is there different prices in milk? See if you can go find it. Or go to the cereal aisle and see what the different prices are on cereal. I've seen too many people today, your age and younger, they just go to the store and they look at something and they just grab it. But they don't do anything to see if there's something of the same quality, the same product that's just been relabeled that may cost $1 less. Instead of taking the time to look at it, they just grab the other product, the one that's the most expensive. And if you look at the ingredients and you look at what's in it, sometimes it is the exact same thing. And I do know from the business world that there are bigger companies that sell the same product, they just get put in a different box. Mm-hmm. Now I'm about to really break the hearts of all you women that think that Victoria's Secret is the best thing since sliced bread.
I don't know too many who think that, but...
Well, there were some that used to always talk about Victoria's Secret, and you see it on TV, TV and radio. But I was looking at a company one time with another person that we were thinking about buying. And we went to tour this facility. And all they sold, believe it or not, April, was bras. They had so many bras stacked up, I didn't think they made that many. But they started in the back, and when it came in the back, there were these big boxes that had just got shipped to them. And when you opened up the boxes, here was all these bras. Well, then you saw somebody putting them on a conveyor belt to go this way, and then you saw another guy over here, he'd take his handful to go on a conveyor belt the other way. And the other way was a whole long line of about 30 people at a sewing machine, and all they were doing was sewing Victoria's Secret on the same bra.
Yep.
So some of you that think you're getting something special, you just got snowed or snookered or whatever the word is now. But anyway, getting back to my point, shop. Look at the prices. Look and see what the ingredients are. Look and see what's on them, and then encourage your children to save money. Encourage them to save. All these things that we're talking about, they're really like little subliminal things that you're teaching them to start accumulating certain habits. Do them justice, not by giving them everything that they want. One of the things that your mother taught me, and because I used to be kind of lazy, or when we would go to Walmart, by the way, we spent a lot of time at Walmart. Uh-huh. But sometimes you come up, Daddy, can I have this? I mean, it's like, could I afford it? Yeah, I could afford it. But it was like every time we go to the store, y'all were always asking for something.
Yeah, because there was always stuff there.
Yeah, but if I didn't say no sometimes, then you would have been really spoiled. So you got to say no to your kids sometime. But one thing your mama did is we made it a point not to buy you big ticket items during the year, but to make sure at Christmas time you got big ticket items. That way we were hoping to accomplish a couple things. Number one, I've seen kids where they get something for Christmas, they open it, or either a birthday, and they just kind of stick it aside. And I'm like, that kid didn't even appreciate that. What was wrong with that kid? And that's because he gets it all year long. It meant nothing to him. But for the kids that had to wait till the end of the year, when they got something at Christmas, it made Christmas a whole lot more exciting because they never got things like that during the year.
We were also taught that if you didn't appreciate, you could see real quick what it's like to get nothing.
Absolutely. So that's one of the things, parents, make sure there's consequences. If there's bad behavior, they don't get it. Don't give in. Don't give in. You're not doing your kid justice if you do that. And then that's one thing that I hope people get from this one. If you are spoiling your kids, recognize it. If you're too lazy to just blow them off instead of taking the time to work with them, explain to them, because a lot of times parents say, oh, go ahead and get it. I'm tired of you whining about it. Well, they know now they can manipulate you, and they'll never learn anything. Don't let your kids manipulate you. And then one thing I wanted to throw in here is now there's something out there, I printed this out, called the Trump account. It's something new, so I'm going to share some things that I printed off. It's a newer tax advantage option with a government-seeded funds for children born between 2025 and 2028, and it requires that you take the money out of your account by the time that you're 30 years old. Now, these accounts are tax advantaged. They're long-term investments, for kids under 18, and they were created in the One Big Beautiful Bill. And it allows the parents to save the money that grows tax deferred. But here's the cool thing. The government is going to give you $1,000 of seed money to deposit for that kid. The purpose is to build wealth, and you can put in $5,000 a year, excluding the seed money, to use for adulthood, such as what you started out with, April. Education, purchase of a home. So to be eligible, you got to be a kid under 18 with a Social Security number, and the kid has to be born between January 1st, 2025, December 31st, 2028, and they will receive this money. Now, to open this account, you can open it starting July the 5th, 2026, and it's a Form IRS 4547. But go to trumpaccounts.gov website, and you can learn a whole lot more about this. So it's a great thing that our government is doing for normal people to help encourage them to save for their children and to show their children that the parents want to help them save. So you get $1,000 free to start it, put $5,000 a year, up to $5,000 a year, and by the time they're 18 years old with that compound interest, I didn't run any calcs on this, but I'm sure it's going to be a good bit of money over the 18 years. So go to trumpaccounts.gov and look at that website.
Yeah, it's not a long window, but I do know a lot of people who have had babies within that range, I guess, yeah. And a few that have just missed it.
Well, those that have had babies, remember it goes through 2028. So those that are about to have babies.
Yeah, but you had to have a baby within that 3-year period. Mm-hmm.
Yes. And maybe whoever gets elected in the future may want to continue this for people who are having children that want to help them save money, encourage them to save money. And here's the great thing, April. If they got until 30 to take it out, it takes a lot of pressure off the parents. Mm-hmm. And for you parents that don't know anything about budgeting, needs, wants, how to do, when to do, and if to do, go back and start at episode 1. I think you will find it very helpful and encouraging.
Thanks for listening to the Money Dad Podcast. Head on over to our website, themoneydadpodcast.com, for more resources and to send in any questions that you might have. Do your homework, and we'll see you next time.